All right. Good evening, everyone. It is October 22nd, 2014, and welcome to another edition of the Aurorian Age. Tonight, we're going to discuss a pretty hot topic. For some, it may be a controversial topic. That's a big word, by the way. We are going to talk about bots, hacks, and gold farmers. But before we do, we're going to start this cast like we normally do. Bear, what'd you do this last week in ArcheAge?
This last week in ArcheAge, I got some pretty good PvP done. We were fighting up on Friedrich for quite a couple of times. Went over to a pirate island and laid the smackdown on some pirates. Got the smackdown laid on us a couple of times when we attempted to do a couple of world bosses. Figured out that the Kraken's not just a tank and spank, that he does actually have several stages to him, and worked on Morpheus a little bit. And overall, we just had another really good week in ArcheAge, man.
Yeah, it really has been. Chrys, how about yourself?
Well, I have spent the last week stirring up a whole lot of pirate drama. We have a pirate guild on our server that is not well liked. We have other pirate guilds on the server that would like to replace them as being the alpha pirates, and I have been right there in the middle stirring it up so that there is no peace on Pirate Island. Besides that, my whole life is black pearl scrap farming. I'm farming up those mobs every single day for hours at a time because I want one.
Absolutely. Yeah, we pretty much took over Pirate Island the other night, didn't we?
Yes, we did. There's barely enough room on that island to fit us.
Tier, how about yourself? How's the East doing today?
Oh man, dude. Let's see. What did we do this past week? Meetings.
Oh, I know that.
And then there was, we increased our fleet by a galleon and a trade ship, so kind of using that. A little bit of PvP. All good times. I got a new port in, so whenever I get bored, instead of going to Hell Swamp and killing the Reds 4v1, I can now go to Pirate Island and kill them 4v1.
Right. Yeah. We got a house there, so at any time, whenever we feel like it, we can just go occupy the Pirate Island.
House on Pirate Island. Oh, my Lord.
Yep. And Omega Ascendant's got the port.
Awesome. Well, like yourself, Tier, I have had my fair share of meetings this last week. No doubt about it. In and out of the game for sure. It's been a meeting type of week. Bear, the Kraken was amazing. Chrys and Bear had a really good time with the Kraken with those two. I think next time that we go, we went with Lunaticos and went and participated in their Kraken hunting, and it was pretty fun. We got harassed pretty good by a bunch of Reds, Purgatory, Bloodlust, few of those, but I think next time we all go out there, we'll get it for sure. No doubt about it. It's got it down to what, 24%? 24, I think 24%.
Yeah, when we were there, they got it really low. The Kraken has a mechanic where he regens like crazy, so everybody has to be alive at the end of the fight to get all the DPS on it. My understanding is that they did end up coming back later with Rising On leading it, and Rising On brought it down. So eventually there was victory.
Good deal. And that's without using any sort of hack at all, any sort of bug, anything. I mean, this was doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Because the Kraken was definitely hitting us. No two ways around that. So interesting post by Scapes today. Looking at the official forums, of course, we know the game's been down last couple days, couple times, and I'm just going to read his post word for word. As players in game just saw, we've announced that 10,000 accounts where third-party botting, hacking, or spamming software use was detected have now been banned. This is in addition to the 7,000 accounts banned last night for the same. Also, gold related to those accounts are being removed from the game's economy. Accounts that were caught using third-party botting, hacking, or spamming software will not be unbanned. They're welcome to play on a new account legitimately. This is from Scapes today. Looks like Tryon laid a little bit of a smackdown today.
Yeah, it does. It's good to see too, because man, it's been pretty bad. I mean, anytime we would go over like Chrys, when we were going after your little fire pet, I don't remember how many bots we ran into that were just sitting there leveling up, and then they would target us, I guess, because we were targetable, and they would run up and start beating on us, and we're like, dude, that's a really bad idea. They were like
Yes,
level
indeed.
30. You just kind of.
Yeah, we did actually have a little bit of fun with the bots, though. If you had a cow and you made the cow crap, especially like while they're mining nodes, they would run over and sniff the crap and fall over for 4 seconds, and they would just do it over and over and over again until it disappeared. So
that's awesome.
We had a little bit of fun with it. So it's like all the bots just swarm to that, and you're like, yeah, well, we know that all those guys are bots.
So the bots
should YouTube that next time.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely. So the bots detect the cow crap as a mining node, and they flock to it.
Yep.
That is hilarious.
If you put it in their path while they're doing the rounds, they will like stop and get stuck on it and keep trying to mine it.
Well, that's awesome. Everybody hear that? If you want to mess with the bots a little bit, get yourself a cow and have it crap.
Indeed.
Just have it crap all over the place. You'll find bots just falling over left and right. Now, I wonder if that actually messes up the bot program. Do you think they have to reset it, or is it just business as usual when they stand up?
Well, I think after the node goes away or the pile goes away, it just keeps going after that. But
that's too bad. It's still funny. I'm going to have to get a cow and try that, because we all know the places the bots are at. It's really easy to tell the mining bots, because they've got it down pat. They'll run to one place, glide to another, run to a place. They have it down pat, no doubt about it. And it's the programs they use are pretty sophisticated, because if they can tell somebody's on it, they just boop, go to another one. I hate that crap. So first thing we're going to talk about is the gold farmers. I don't know about y'all, but I turned off general chat and faction chat a long time ago.
Yeah.
It got to be too much. And it's not like
you have to.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not like they do just one line, buy gold from so on. So they got to do it so it takes up your whole chat screen. And a matter of fact, some of them got it down pat, at least for the size chat screen I used, the way I got mine minimized a little bit, that I can't click on them and block them because there's too much going on, which is, I don't even watch general and faction chat anymore. It got to be too much for me as far as having to sort through all that crap. I used to watch it for amusement when, all the drama, controversy, everybody trolling each other. That's always amusing to a point, but the gold spam just got to be much. So bye-bye faction chat.
I used to watch trial chat a lot, and can't do that anymore because now they're spamming in trial chat.
Yep.
Now they fixed that now, because now you can't talk in trial chat unless you're the defendant or actually one of the jurors now. So they got
they fixed it. They fixed it, and yet there's still spam in trials. So now I think that bots are leveling to 15, queuing up for trial, and then spamming once they get in. And there's just so many of them that the end result is it's pretty much the same.
Well, and they did, to Tryon's credit, they did make it to where you have to get to level 15 to be able to use that chat. And I remember the first day they did that, I went to Liliat Hills for something, or was it? It was one of the starting zones I went to, and I was actually going there because Punky had started playing, so I ran over there to just kind of do some things over there. And man, you should have seen them. they were just all over the place, and you could tell they're bots or gold farmers. I don't even think they're all bots, but the gold farmers were actually trying to level. Chris, you gonna be okay over there, bud?
Yeah, kitten drama. The kitten likes this, so it's a little bit difficult. And these are really kind of expensive headphones, so if she chews through this cable, then she's going to be a dead kitten. So I'm trying to save her life.
But yeah, you could see them actually leveling. Matter of fact, somebody posted a really, really cool video about on the bots. They just sat there, or the gold farmers sat there and they filmed them. And I know Dash has that video on the gold farmers, but these guys looked like a swarm of locusts. They were going from mob to mob to mob, and it just the way they were moving, it looked like a swarm of locusts. It was unreal. I mean, they want to sell that gold. There's no two ways around it.
Interesting fact about the whole, you hear about the Asian or the Chinese bot farmers like ruining economies in games and things like that. The funny thing about a lot of that is that Vice, which is a kind of like a news broadcast, they do like these weird documentaries, and they did one on that, and it was actually all started by an American.
Really?
An American masterminded the whole thing.
Well, I remember the guy in UO that he had started doing it. And he had, I think it was 25 or 30 computers in his house that he had turned into bot programs, and each computer was running multiple accounts and stuff like that. So I guess that's could very well be the case. I mean, because that guy was talking about making just buttloads of money, just a room full of computers sitting there running characters.
Yep.
So,
Too much trouble for me, man. I just play the game like it's supposed to be played. That's all I want to do.
Indeed.
But there's definitely must be some really good money in it. Hey, Alejandra, how you doing? There definitely must be some good money in it, because I mean, you see them all the time. Even games that aren't free to play, they'll pay $60 an account over and over again.
Actually, in that documentary, he talks about how the whole free-to-play model, if you don't have anything but it's just free-to-play, no subscription or anything attached to the game, how at the time of that documentary, it actually ruined their whole market. They only targeted subscription-based games.
Wow.
That's unreal. So, as I was researching some of these things on as far as hacks and bots and stuff like that, I came across a really startling revelation, and that was the amount of sites out there that are openly advertising for, and mind you, I'm gonna put this in here right now. GTGN Streaming, the GTGN Network, Grievance Global Gaming, and any guild or person affiliated with Grievance does not support hacking, botting, or gold selling in any way. We will not mention the names of the sites that we found while we were researching this. We won't mention how it's done. We're going to talk about it and talk about how it damages the economy and what to be on the lookout for. So keep that in mind as we do this cast. But anyway, back to what I was saying. As we were researching this site or these topics, there are actually sites out there that, I mean, openly advertise. I mean, whole website devoted to such and such type of bot and hack, a program that people can go and buy and all this stuff. And apparently they update it like they do any other bot, like anybody does any other program you buy on the internet. And then I stumbled across the forums where people were talking in the forums, and you can get into this. I mean, this is just open for anybody to look at and read. It's not even, it's not even hidden from the public. And people saying, well, I was wondering if we could do a hack or a bot to do this. And then somebody posted under it and they said, yeah, that's probably possible. And I'm sitting there scratching my head and I'm like, holy crap, man. They're not even trying to hide this crap.
Yeah, cheating is big business. It's big business. They make a lot of money doing it too.
It's a cat and mouse game, though. Like it's almost self-defeating because Tryon gets. I'm sure that they have people that read this and like, oh well, then here's how we fix it, and then the the botters and the programmers for that group come back and they're like, oh well, they fixed it. Now we have to come up with something else. So it's always going to be that cat and mouse game. That's
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's big money. There's people out there that'll do it, and we've noticed grievance has been around for 14 years, and we've noticed over the last 14 years that it gets progressively worse and worse and worse in every single game. At least the gold selling. ArcheAge has been. I'm not saying that other games haven't had their fair share of bot hacks and bots and stuff like that. But ArcheAge does seem to, is it just me or does it seem to have a lot more hacks than the last few games we've played?
Hacks, I would say yes. I wouldn't say that there's many more bots. We've seen, good Lord, we've seen bots in every game, but there does seem to be a lot more hacks. And I think that has something to do with Hack Shield because I pretty much think it's a crap program. And when I read more and more in about what Hack Shield actually was, that was pretty frustrating to find out that it's actually a rootkit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
what?
It's a rootkit.
What's that?
Basically, it's a program that puts itself on your computer that you cannot get rid of, and it can search your entire machine, every bit of information on your entire machine. And you can't get rid of it. You can't uninstall it.
You have to. You can. They're just really, really hard. You have to get like some rootkit removers and stuff, and it actually embeds itself deep down into the registry of your computer itself, and it will embed itself in multiple places. So you really kind of have to know what you're doing to get rid of it, or have a friend that really knows what it's doing to get rid of it. It's really, really hard. And any company that uses third-party programs like Hack Shield, those programs are kind of crappy.
Sorry,
really
no,
crappy.
I'm not Tier's dad.
No, actually, my dad can't grow a beard, so
Oh, there
it
you
gets all
go.
like
There
patchy
cannot
and
be
weird.
Tier's dad.
That's right. And I'm not old enough to be his dad.
Well, you see,
So-
now I wish I would have just not known what Hack Shield was. I shouldn't have asked because I kind of feel violated.
Well, a lot of people do. Now that we've kind of found out more and more about Hack Shield, and from what I was told, now I haven't confirmed this or not, but they actually took Hack Shield off the Korean servers. Hack Shield's not part of that program anymore, simply because of it breaks their laws in their country. So, yeah, it's kind of frustrating, and I don't think it does what it's intended to do. I don't think it has actually prevented as much stuff because, well, it's pretty obvious. Look at all the different kind of hacks we've got. We've only touched on a couple of them,
Yeah.
So,
One thing
Well,
that I read that's interesting is that apparently hacks in Korea are taken a lot more seriously. And what's interesting is that your national ID in Korea is linked to your account. So, I mean, if you could imagine, having to provide your driver's license or your social security number when you registered for a Tryon account. So if you get banned in Korea, you are banned for life. So there's a lot more consequences to it. Whereas with Tryon, it's just a free to play account. You can make as many of them as you want. You could be Tiger and you could have 5 accounts and you could, have them all up and running. So the consequences are much higher in Korea, but since the laws were different in other regions like Russia and other countries in Europe, the hacks are rampant in those servers, but really not as bad in Korea. So it all comes down to like the infrastructure of the game. The game was designed to be a game where one person would only be able to get one account. And so because of that, they were able to, my understanding is that a lot of the stuff in ArcheAge is handled on the client side rather than the server side, or at least more so than most MMOs. So it's a lot more vulnerable to hacking, and the way that they combated that is that if you're banned in Korea, like you as a person are banned, not just your account.
And that goes back to the actual engine. The Cry engine wasn't originally designed to be an MMO engine. The Cry engine was single player games. So that makes sense for it to mostly be handled on your computer versus on a server. But
I think isn't that why Star Citizen took the time to redo their entire netcode? They didn't want to use the CryEngine 3 netcode.
yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, too, I don't know how much Tryon actually has to kind of manage. I don't know what their license agreement is and the legality behind it, but it doesn't seem like they have a test server at all set up. And the reason why I say that is because we had an extended downtime and they posted, oh, well, the new patch removed our GM tools. Well, if you had a test server, you would know this. So and then too, there's no client file verification. A lot of these things were done by, kind of going in, unpackaging client files, changing values of things, and then, repackaging and launching the game. And the game had no, but I think that this last patch was part of it. They may have added a client file authenticator or at least checker, and that would have prevented quite a few of the things that they had an issue with. So I'm surprised that some of these things were never even implemented from the beginning.
Well, I know that we had several people that had to reinstall the game with this last patch. For whatever reason, when it came through, it would not allow them to connect to the game. So they had to uninstall the game.
See, that happened to me last month. I had to do that last month.
Now, my son sitting over here right next to me is playing Trove that Tryon, wrote from the ground up. It's their own game. And if you right-click on Trove and Glyph, you can go through and do a file verification. And he had got to where he couldn't connect to the game, and he verified his files, and then everything worked. But like Tyr was just saying, we don't have that. Now, maybe they did just add it. I haven't checked since then, but we haven't had that ability. So if something does happen, you got to wipe and reload.
Yeah, and you're right, Tyr, about the and yes, Allie, he is a loud typer, and you're right about the test server. Originally, it was supposed to be the alpha server was supposed to be the test server, wasn't it, or was it the beta? Was it the alpha?
It's supposed to be the alpha. The beta rolled over to the live server. But I think what they did was once they saw how they were getting smashed on release, and they were in a hurry to get more servers in and that things. I think they just took the alpha servers and just transferred over them to live to help with the beating that they were getting with everyone logging in. I'm pretty sure that that's definitely a possibility that they. I think that's what they did, which is why we haven't had any test servers.
Could be. I mean, only they know. So let's talk about some of the different types of hacks that we've read about or encountered in game. One of them is the auction house botting. We know it's there. I know for a fact it's been around since EverQuest 2 because I remember in EQ2, one of the guys in EQ2, we'd only been playing the game 6 months, and he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, Steel, I got this program that can help the guild, and it'll let you buy these. I think they were pearls or whatever. Buy these pearls right off the bat, and you can beat everybody, and you can set what price you want to set." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Nah, we're not going to use that, brother. We're not going to do that." But I know for a fact that they've been around forever. So, and that was 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, 9 years ago. So if you look at how much technology has progressed since then and everything else, I mean, these auction house programs have got to be, well, there's no way you can beat them manually. There can't be.
No, and you're right. WoW had them, EQ2 had them, and I've seen a video of how it works here. Is you can set the timer for when it makes a bid, and you can set it down to I think it's a 1/100th of a second before the bid goes offline. So there's no way you can outsnipe a program running that, because I mean it's waiting to the 100th of a second before it puts the last bid in. That's just
That's
it's
crazy,
sick.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that bid would beat your latency, even if you were there steadily clicking. Like that bid would beat your latency to the server.
And
Yeah.
there's been times I've done that on the auction house. I know I've been there right there to submit the bidding time, and it's like poof, and I'm like, well, that was quick.
Yeah.
That was quick. Somebody else must have been watching it. But after you do that a few times, you start scratching your head, and you're like, I'm not sure I'm up against a person anymore.
I think that the land one was probably really bad. You talk about people creating items or people upgrading items and some of the other hacks that kind of do ruin the economy, but those things are renewable, so to speak. The one thing that's in this game that they're not making really any more of, with the exception of expansions coming out, is land. And the fact that you could snipe land from anywhere in the world, that was ridiculous.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because we actually have that on our list a little down there. And we have a video, and in the video, it's a bunch of people standing around waiting to place on this property that's going down. And then all of a sudden, poof, a property goes down, and the person who placed the property's nowhere around. Nowhere.
Yeah.
And
That actually happened to me. On the alpha server, JoJo and I had decided that we were going to try to grab this property. Another guy beat us to it. He was standing right there, and we came to an agreement for us to buy it from him. Now, I thought it was a pretty good agreement. This is back when there was Nui tiers, and I was trading a merchant ship for the land. It was a 16 by 16. Heck, that was a great deal for me then. He was happy, I was happy. So he goes, all right, let's make sure there's nobody around. We looked around. He destroyed it before I could place it. And I had my thing right there ready to go, man. I mean, I was like, click, click, click. And actually, there was 4 of us. It was me and Joe and both of my boys, and we were all going as fast as we could. The guy that beat us, this is in Dewstone, right there towards the back, right by Sand Cloud. The guy that beat us was in a house with the door shut.
that's crazy. That's crazy. But you see them. If you look, if you ever see somebody sitting on top of a house, and the house is going to expire in the next day or two, next 12 hours, that's a land bot. That's a program, because one, they don't disconnect or get logged out of the game for AFK, because they've got something running there. So you'll see them. We had one sitting on top of one of our houses that were about to expire, and you saw it. He was sitting up on the roof, just sitting there. And I'm sitting there talking to everybody at the pavilion, the fellowship hall, and everything. And I look 45 minutes later, and he's still sitting there. And then 3 hours later, he's still sitting there. And it's like, oh, this is one of those land bots. This guy's sitting here, got a program, just tick, 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 tick. Now, we disappointed him because the person who needed to pay up the house logged in and, paid up his house. But if any of y'all ever see anybody just sitting on a house for a prolonged period of time, stand there and watch them for a little bit. If they don't go AFK in the amount of time that they should have gone AFK, you are looking at a land bot, and report accordingly, please. Because now, one of the patches they did very recently, didn't they shorten the distance that you could place land?
This last patch.
This last patch shortened the distance you could place land. So that's going to help with the people placing it clear across the zone, but it's not going to help with the land bot sitting on your roof.
Well, they changed it to 40 meters, and if you actually check it, 40 meters is still a pretty good distance away. So you definitely don't have to be standing right there on top of it to place it, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, and Alejandra, y'all did have that issue, definitely.
Yeah.
It's and they really need to do something about that. I don't know how they can do something about it. I don't know if it involves the game's code or if it's a third-party program they just can't do anything about. But something definitely needs to be done about it.
I think getting rid of Hack Shield is the first step, and actually putting in your own security stuff and not relying on a third-party software to run your security for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You
All
know,
right,
and
so
we've actually had GMs that have popped in and was like, "Hey, if anybody sees a bot, say in faction chat that you've got a bot in front of you, and we'll come take care of it." They come up across in green letters right across our screen that night.
yep,
So,
yep.
I mean, they're working on it, but just seems a little slow.
It's like anything else, any
Yeah.
other game. So fishing, I didn't realize there was something out there for fishing. I don't fish, but I guess it makes sense because I came across a lot of posts, and I won't mention the name because actually there's two programs out there that I found while researching this, so I won't mention any of those names. But apparently there are plugins that let you catch every fish that you hook. So you're not going to lose your fish. You're going to catch it every time. And remember that one site I said that had the advertisements advertising their stuff and all. It actually advertises. It allows you to make 1K a day with average spikes up to 3K a day. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
What
you're a
it does-
fisherman, how do you compete?
Well, what it does is it makes it so that a bot will fish for you, and it makes it so that you cannot make any mistakes. So, I mean, essentially, it sees what the buff on the fish is and what you have to press, and it just instantly does it. So you'll never make any mistakes. It totally takes the human element out of it. And fishing was balanced around the response times of a person. And
Right.
so you've got people with low skill levels that are able to catch like 36K 18 or 36K HP fish, when normally they wouldn't be able to do it because the window to press a button would only come up for half a second, but the bots can do this.
I was going to ask how did they do that with the damage, because you have to break the damage and you have it's on a timer. So I was curious with low proficiencies how they were able to break the damage and get it
They
in
can't.
anyway.
What
Okay.
all the program actually does is read the buff that comes up and then presses a corresponding button. So you actually do have to have the skill, or at least the right pole and stuff to damage the fish enough. But it guarantees that you won't mess up.
Right.
Okay.
Like I do.
Call just said in TeamSpeak that they banned 3 fisher boats today for using that. And that's really good because this is one of those things you look at and you say, this is an economy breaking hack.
Yep.
This is something that, rather than a fishing boat making an average of 400 gold a day, this is an economy breaking hack. This is flooding the market with unnecessary gold that it shouldn't be introduced into the game.
Right.
So this is one of those things that actually hurt the server.
Now, there is something with fishing that I found out. One of my guys actually found this out. It's not really a hack. I don't think the mechanic is working as intended. But one of the things that he did unintentionally actually was, the suits that you can get for fishing that raise your proficiency for 500. He was 500 away from leveling up his fishing proficiency to the next level. So he's like 500 away from 30K. So he equipped his suit, and it popped up for him to level up his thing. So he leveled up his thing, and once you level it up, you take the suit off, it doesn't de-level your proficiency. So essentially, you get 500 fishing proficiency for free.
Oh, wow.
And you put the suit back on, and it will raise your proficiency up to 3,500. And it stops it there. And of course, he didn't do that intentionally. It just popped up and said, "Hey, raise your proficiency." Whatnot. He clicked the check, and when he took the fishing suit off, it didn't go back down. But I don't think that's working intended. I only mentioned that one, so hopefully someone from Tron's listening, and I'm pretty sure that they have bigger problems to worry about at this, but that's pretty sure that's not working as intended.
Yeah, and mind you, that's actually part of the reason we're doing this cast is hopefully it'll catch Tron's attention also. That hey, these are out there. Although I'm sure they know, they cannot not know these hacks are out there.
Right.
And now we've gotten. Go ahead.
I was going to say you might be surprised because I was really surprised that Scapes did not know that there weren't healing weapons in the quest line.
Oh, that's true. He did say that other night.
So
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it if some of these things hadn't come on their radar yet. But I know that they're working on it. So.
And they're working hard. A lot of people don't understand. It's a balancing act between getting out new content and fixing bugs. Now Tryon has the luxury that the new content's already out there. They just got to convert it over. But a lot of people don't understand. It's a balancing act between the two things, because you want to keep your players engaged, interested, and feeling refreshed in the game, but you also want to fix these game breaking hacks like the fishing hack. That's game breaking in my opinion, because it deals with money. But another hack that kind of deals with money, and I saw a really interesting video on this, and Dash will put this up in a second, is a teleport hack.
Oh yeah.
I had heard rumors about this. I really had. I wouldn't have a clue how to do it, nor do I want to. But apparently there's a teleport hack that lets you teleport a pretty good distance with the trade pack on. And this video Dash is showing right now is a teleport hack that somebody filmed over in Korea, and we've already heard that these are still on the US and European servers, because you hear people talk about them all the time. But you can see the person just appears, and then he drops down from the air like you do when you respawn, like I did today when I crashed in the middle of the water, and then when I appeared, I appeared a couple feet over the water and then splashed. So in the video, the guy or gal, whoever, turns it in, and then poof, disappears. And if you watch the way they disappear, that's not really a stealth. That's a disappear. And then a few seconds later, poof, they reappear again. So this is definitely not working as intended.
Yeah, and just like ArcheAge actually said, that Tryon has been picking those up pretty quick. Good. And has been deleting those, because that's pretty easy to tell if you can catch a player going from Souls Reed to Sand Deep in a matter of seconds. It's easy to pick up on those, I guess.
No doubt. But can you imagine the gold farmers getting a hold of something like this? Of course, I'm sure they have.
I saw a video actually where they were standing at the machine where you make the packs, and you could see them poured in. They would pour it in, and they were all falling in right there on top of it.
Oh, my Lord.
And there was probably 30 to 40 of them. They would all make a pack, and then they would just disappear, and then they'd all start falling back down. They'd make another pack and disappear.
That's crazy. And Carl, that's good to hear. That's good to hear, because I remember they had posted something about that. So I'm really glad to see it. They're getting them, guys. They're getting them pretty quick. Now, during the research, I came across another hack, and it was confirmed it isn't real. So anybody who's had fears of the regrade hack, it doesn't exist, at least not that anybody knows. We found a couple posts on it with people saying, oh, I gave this guy, 3 different items, and, came back ultimate or something like that. And a little more research, it's been determined that this is kind of one of those myths as far as we can tell. So if you're worried that there's a regrade hack out there, as far as we can tell in our research, we did not find anything substantiating a regrade hack. As a matter of fact, I think Chrys actually found a statement by Tryon stating that there was no such thing. Correct, Chrys?
Yeah, the CEO of Tryon actually came on Reddit, and he basically wrote a message to Reddit and says, okay, we've investigated this. It's not a real thing. There's plenty of other hacks out there that they acknowledge, but that one in particular is not real.
And that was good to know, because when I first read it, I was like, oh, crap. So that was really good to know that would have been worse than a damn fishing hack. Now here's a hack, and I hate to call it a hack, because to me this is almost something that should be in game. But until Tryon says they'll actually allow it in game, obviously I won't have it. We won't support it in grievance. But this is the field of view zoom hack, which a allows you to zoom way out, pretty much a lot more. If a lot of you notice when, especially if you've been on a galleon or a clipper, your field of view just pretty much sucks. It really does.
Yes,
So,
it does.
so
Well,
somebody,
and this has two parts to it. One of them is allows you to zoom back further, and the other one gives you a further field of view. So not only could you zoom out, like if you're on a cutter or a clipper or lute song, be able to see further back, but then you'd be able to see further out in the distance of anything that's coming. And you're right. Whether this is a hack or not, I don't know. I guess it is right now, simply because it's not available to everybody. But this is actually a mod that is usable on the Korean and Russian servers.
yeah, they were calling it a plug-in. And
Right.
I would actually like to see Tryon go ahead and put this in game somehow, some way, because it's a pain in the butt when you're on a ship sometimes. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Well, and in Alpha and Omega, you could actually go in and edit your files and manually adjust it so that you could do it. And then, matter of fact, Scapes commented on that to us when he came over. Is that one of the things is that it's not accessible to everybody, and because it's not accessible to everybody, then they're going to consider a hack right now. So,
Yeah, so keep in mind, everybody, even though this is something that will probably be added to game later somehow, some way, it is still deemed illegal by Tryon. So if you're going to use it, be careful. I mean, if you get banned, you only got yourself to blame on it. And that's, I guess I'm a goody two shoes, because I'm not going to use any of these things until they say, go ahead, it's okay to use, because hey, I get attached to my characters. I don't want to lose all my hard work.
Yep.
But, now here's an interesting one, and somebody posted this on our forums. They didn't post where it came from or how to do it or anything like that, but that is the locate hack, where you can there's some third-party programmer hack out there that you can put somebody on your friends list and you can locate them anywhere in game.
And that's a really interesting one, simply because you don't have to have the other person's permission to get put on your friends list. Like
Right.
in other games, you have to, you send a request and then the other person has to accept it. And this one is just automatic. So I guess if you're, trying to be a bounty hunter, or you're, targeting someone specifically, that would be, a hack that people like that would use. Or on the darker side of things, people that just wanted to cyberbully. I know in Alpha, I had someone that was in my guild that, he got cyberbullied a lot by people in the game. And every time that he streamed, people would stream snipe him and come and talk about, personal things in the stream, and then come and harass him in game. And, you wouldn't even have to stream snipe someone with that. You just knew where they were as long as they were online.
Yeah, and that would be something as simple as, I wonder what Grievance is up to today. And they had several of us on their friends list. Oh, they're making a run for Friedrich Holland. That's not cool.
no. M3 Gusta asked, so people who got suspended or banned for buying gold, are they gone for good, or is there some sort of warning for them? From reading Scapes' post, is that they're gone for good, and you'll just have to create another account.
Yep. He says they're welcome to play on a new account legitimately. So if they got banned for selling gold or buying gold or anything like that, well, guess you better make a new character.
Now, Axum, you're correct. Did you guys talk about trying taking gold from players who didn't buy gold but sold something to someone who did buy gold? That's rough. I understand what you're saying. What they're doing is they're taking the gold out of the system. Now, is that completely fair? Let's say that Chrysamir, made a badass weapon and he sold it to a guy. Now Chrys is out all of his materials, and the gold that he got for making it is no longer in his backpack because they took that gold out of the system. So I guess it's good that they're taking the gold out of the system, but at the same time, it can hurt legitimate players too.
Yeah. And I know there's some way you can report it. I don't know if it's going to do you any good, but there is an option, and especially if you inadvertently got banned, because we know there's been some people that have been inadvertently banned, and honest to God that they haven't done anything wrong. They do have an appeal system. I guess it's sent the link when they send you an email saying you've been banned. You know, that there is a way you can appeal it. But yeah, it's losing 1,200 gold sucks, bud. I'm sorry to hear that, man. So,
Deacon,
go ahead, Bear.
Deacon says, "What's up, gentlemen? I agree the hacks are bad, especially one where they can target you and attack you, but you cannot attack them, and you get target not available or error. I haven't actually heard about that one.
We saw that in beta, in the massive Friedrich run. There were people using that where we couldn't target them, and they were laying waste to everybody. And then it's a terrain thing. They phase themselves somehow. It's a terrain thing because, you know, if you're standing a little above somebody or below somebody, you can't necessarily hit them. I don't know if this is actually a hack, although I'm sure somebody's figured out how to do it. But we ran into a couple people like that on Friedrich Island in beta that we just couldn't damage, and they were running around hitting everybody. And then after a couple, I'd say 30 seconds, we were able to beat them down for whatever changed. But for a little bit there, nobody could damage these guys. Remember that, Bear?
Yeah, I do. And I understand what Mind Your Matter is saying. There is an example, like if we were to go into an opposing faction city and, you know, Steel got attacked, we would not be able to attack the person that has attacked Steel. But Steel could fight back. All we could do is heal Steel. So that's a game mechanic that I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but I can understand it. But that part is actually a game mechanic. So I'm not exactly sure if that's what you're talking about, Deacon, or not. So, and there's also there's a box that you can buy that if you push a button, basically what it does is it turns your internet off and on really fast, and it does it quick enough that you don't actually lose a connection to the game, but it can basically phase you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that one's been around for several years. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, we knew people that used those way back in the Mech Warrior 2 days. So they would see you in one spot and the game actually thinks you're somewhere else. So,
but don't people appear glitchy when they do that?
Sometimes you can see them bounce back and forth. If they've got a good enough box that can do that, then they won't.
Well, that's also whenever the server just loses kind of track of where you are and you start kind of like glitching out on the ocean and bouncing back and forth. But if the server, if you're running something that phases you and it tells the server that you are here and the server believes that you are here, then you won't bounce.
Right.
Whenever you're doing that bouncing thing, especially like whenever you're phasing into another zone or something on the ocean, the server's trying to figure out, okay, I know that you're in this area, but where are you exactly? And I'm trying to find out where you need to be and where to put you. But if the server is being told,
that's where you see the rubber banding is just trying to readjust where you are.
Right. And but if you have a program that's telling the server that you're here and the server believes that you're there, then you won't see any rubber banding at all.
Oh, wow. So what's Tron's best way of catching gold spammers and hackers and botters? I mean, they've got a reporting system, but as we've seen before, if somebody gets mad at you, then their whole group will report you. And I think all they lose is a little labor doing it, but cause you a little bit of grief in the process. So what is a good solution to this?
They have to fight bots with bots. They have to write scripts that scour the servers, that they have to put rules into place. Like if somebody, like if a character moves a certain, beyond a certain distance that would be possible for a player to do so, that it's flagged. And they have to ramp up their customer service department to deal with mistakes, because there will be false positives. And as long as it's not a miserable experience for somebody innocent to get unbanned, then they really need to fight bots with bots. I think that they could analyze like the trends that like the gold spammers do with their chat bots, and they could automatically suspend somebody. They could have a wing of their customer service department review these suspensions individually. If anything, it would create jobs, but they cannot hope to do it all manually with the amount of bots there are, because it's not a good business plan.
That's actually a really interesting idea.
Some parts of it. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I'm actually in college right now for cybersecurity. That's what I'm getting my degree in. Almost done, but sometimes it's hard to tell legitimate traffic from bot traffic. Like one of my guys got banned because he didn't want to go AFK. He was still at his computer, but he was doing something on his other screen, so he would just move his character every so often. Well, to them in their logs, when they look at that looks like someone wrote a macro to circumvent the AFK timer. So he got banned, and he got it unbanned later. But for the bots that you saw in like the YouTube video where they're running and attacking and there's different movements, sometimes it's really hard to tell what that looks like in the log. Sometimes it's just hard to tell legitimate player movement from botted player movement. I mean, obviously, if you have the visual, you can tell that those are bots. But if you're just looking at it in text on the client side, or your script's just running through looking at text, then it doesn't. It appears legitimate.
But things like mining routes and stuff like that, which is the same exact path, no deviation, over and over again, that would be something that could be detectable pretty easy, because no human's going to run the exact same steps every single time.
Yeah. Yep.
And then as far as gold spam, if they spam the same thing over and over again, then there you go. That's another catch.
Yeah, I think that if you literally had a script, I think gold spammers is probably the easiest to stop, or the easiest to detect, because it's all there. I think that some of the other botting is a little bit harder to see. I don't have an easy answer for those that are just like leveling bots that are just running and killing mobs. And then I guess if you could detect, okay, well, we know that it has this many quests in this area, and these quests call for this. So if you could, write a script like Chris Amir said, and set up some parameters where if you kill over a certain amount of mob, a certain type of mob so many times, then you're flagged. But then that also comes down to, how do you tell the difference between that and a level 50 that's farming coin purses for dust?
Yeah, or black pearl fragments killing the same thing over and over again.
Exactly. So, but at least you would catch a lot of them, and then you could have someone to manually go through the reports and look and be like, well, this is legitimate, they're doing this, or this is suspicious, let's look a little bit more into this. That's one approach to it. Probably not the best, but it's one approach.
Anything that has a repetitive movement to it for a certain amount of time is most likely a macro. We see it a lot. We see people that use their new mouse or their Nostromos or fancy keyboards, that can write a macro that will simulate that you're doing something, but it's repetitive. Even though you can try to make it not repetitive, over a 10-minute time frame, it becomes repetitive. I sat there and watched a guy the other day. He would stealth. He would take a step every 3.48 seconds. And then after 12 steps, his stealth would go away, and he would re-stealth.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, I was like, this is obvious that this is a macro, So that's one of the first things that I think they could do is write a script to look for, a repetitive movement in a certain amount of time. Now that's not going to catch the leveling bots for sure, but there's a lot of other ones that it can. And what to do about stuff like the marketplace macro or the marketplace hacks and stuff? Man, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that because, I guess just watch for anybody that can make a bid within the last, tenth of a second.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard to detect that. You just look for people that are winning auctions way more than other people, and then you monitor them.
Well, also you have. I don't think that those programs will be that hard to detect either, simply because those programs are querying the server for information that typically isn't given, and you can look for those specific queries, whether it be time or names or locations or any of that stuff. That stuff is on the server, but it's not accessed readily. It's not given out to us. So
Right.
you're writing a program to query for that type of information, and that can be pretty easily picked up on.
Right.
Some of the other
Carl,
stuff,
I
I'm not really
absolutely
sure.
agree. Nighttime GMs would be good.
Yeah, indeed.
It would, because it seems like the level of douchebaggery goes up around midnight my time. Definitely. Well, guys, those are some interesting ideas. Great topic tonight. So, like we always end, Bear, what do you got planned for this next week?
I'm getting ready for the 4th, brother. It's I know it's still a couple of weeks away, but we are in full gear out mode. We've got PvP training, every week, several times a week. We're running people to get gear. We're making gear, and that's what we're all about right now. We're trying, to get Chrys's, that black pearl that he so desperately wants, so he could, rain hell down on everybody on the sea.
13K, you can have it. 13K.
There you go.
That's it.
You can buy all the pieces for 13K.
That's it. Wow. All right, Tier, you get started on that.
I know a site where you can buy 13,000 gold.
Oh, God.
Why didn't I think of that?
No.
All of the answers are in this cast. All right, I'm gonna go set up my bots. I'm gonna start buying gold. We'll have the black pearl tomorrow.
Don't forget to go fishing.
All right.
So Chris, I'm going to ask you, but we know, going for the fragments.
Pretty much. My time is split going for black pearl fragments and doing drills for PvP. We have a lot of exciting drills coming up. We're gonna do some drills on boat formations, get people practice on how to keep sensitive cargo in the middle while fanning out around the sides. I expect more Pirate Island drama. I've heard of some additional Eastern guilds that are looking to go pirate, and all I can say to them is hope you got a lot of people. Because the Pirate Island is it's not accepting invitations at the moment. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to November 4th. That's gonna be a day that we all remember.
Epic.
Hopefully we don't remember it for server instability issues and bots and hacks and
teleporters
stuff like that. Hopefully we remember it for the potential battles that could erupt there.
Yep, it's gonna be epic. Ter, what do you got planned, brother?
Oh man, we just kind of restructured the way that we do things in Omega Ascended a few nights ago. So I'm trying to get the guild ready for that. I'm trying to get enough people to gear up to help you guys. That's pretty much it. Making money, getting ready for the 4th, and hopefully we can get some good PvP drills in soon.
Absolutely. As for myself, probably meetings, more meetings.
Yeah, we have a meeting after this, right?
Oh God, do we?
All right.
Do we?
Isn't there in the last meeting tonight?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome.
The meeting simulator 2015 never stops.
That's right.
I think me and Still are working on the alpha version of 2016 already.
Yeah, pretty much. For those that don't know, Grievance is participating in Extra Life this year, as we did last year. Our goal once again is $2,000. We met that last year, or came within a hair's breadth of meeting it. I don't remember off the top of my head, but we will be participating in Extra Life from midnight to midnight on October 25th. We have this channel is going to be chock full of streams 24/7. We'll be streaming ArcheAge, Diablo. I'm going to go buy Beyond Earth, so that new Sid Meier game that comes out 24th. So I'll be streaming that early in the morning for you people who stay up late or get up early. We'll be streaming some Elder Scrolls. The Gamer Girls are streaming something. So there's a lot of streaming going on. And then to close it all out, Spin is going to be streaming Star Citizen. And I don't remember how many ships Spin has, but he did this last year. He is emptying his hangar. So based on $5 donations, I believe it is, reaching certain amounts. Spin, I'm sorry, I don't remember the specifics. But if you could link your post, there you go. He's linking it in chat right there. So he is emptying out his hangar again this year. That means that there's going to be 5 Star Citizen ships that are going to be given away randomly to people who donate. So it's, yes, and Titanfall. Deacons is going to learn how to stream Titanfall. So we got a lot of really, really cool things. If you look in here, Spin's putting what he's gonna basically be giving away: the 350R Interceptor, the M50 Racer, a Weekend Warrior package with a Super Hornet. Dude, I'd cry if I had one of those and gave it away. You are a good man. It's I'm a freelancer. So, I mean, these are good ships that he's going to be giving away. So make sure to catch our streams. Go to that link he put up there. Spin, could you put that up there again, please? Carrier Bomber. And participate. Help us participate in Extra Life. Donate. This is for the Children's Miracle Network across the U.S. and beyond. It's for the children. It's a very worthy cause. So make sure to catch us all day, all night, October 25th. We'll be streaming and having a really good time, hopefully providing y'all much entertainment, especially me as 3 o'clock in the morning as I figure out how to play Beyond Earth. So if you happen to be up at that time, keep me company because I'll be face planting. But
who knows, man? I may pick it up and we'll do some multiplayer or something.
We might have to do that, man. Definitely.
I know. I'm dying to play that game. I cannot. I don't even want to go check my Steam to see how many hours I put into Civ 5. But it's
well. There we go. Why don't we turn Steel's time into full-on multiplayer Beyond Earth?
Yeah,
He won't go to sleep.
I'll go pick it up.
I just checked. 249 hours on Civ 5.
A Civ game is about the only thing that can pull me away from an MMO for any period of time. I love the Civ games. Absolutely love them. So anyway,
JoJo just hollered at me from the other room. She said, "We'll buy 2 copies so we can play with you."
Awesome.
All right, here's what I propose.
I mean, play the game with you.
Here's what I propose. Me and Tyr against Steel and Bear.
And JoJo's by herself.
All right.
JoJo would beat us all.
She would.
In the game and out of the game. Awesome. Well, look forward to seeing all y'all Saturday, hopefully.
That's good.
Guys, great cast tonight. Credits to our lead producer, Dashiva. Thank you for getting all those videos and pictures up. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see you Saturday, and we'll see you next week.